What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to take a look at basically right where we left off in the last video with the trig functions, except in this case, some of the variables are going to be switched around, and we're going to see how we can solve those algebraically using the same steps with just a couple of additional steps that we need to take into account. All right, it won't be that difficult, but trust me, if you follow the steps, you'll be good to go when it comes to SOH CAH TOA. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so in this case, I have a right angle triangle with the missing side. So again, on a test or a quiz or on your homework, it's always nice to write SOH CAH TOA out. It just makes things a lot easier. And so what I am looking at here is I have an angle of 18 degrees. My 90-degree angle is here, therefore x is my hypotenuse. This is my opposite. What takes into account opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So sine of 18 degrees is going to be equal to opposite 8 all over hypotenuse x. Now here is where the trick comes in. Last time we had this basically flipped where our variable or our unknown was on the numerator. And that makes it a little bit easier because all we have to do is multiply the denominator to each side to solve for 8. I'm sorry, to solve for that missing variable. But what we have to do here is basically the same thing, but we just have to take it one step further. Because again, we want x all by itself. So if I multiplied each side by x, I would have that. Then x's would cancel out. I would have x sine of 18 equals 8. And now I want to get rid of the sine of 18 on the left-hand side, so x is all by itself. And since I'm multiplying, I am simply going to be dividing each side. So what does that look like? Well, x is now going to be 8 all over the sine of 18, because these cancel out. This is what I'm left with. And now I actually have a pretty easy problem to figure out, because I can just put this right into my calculator. Out of 8 all over the sine of 18, that would give me 25.8885. I'm doing 3 significant figures, so my answer is going to be 25.9. So again, the approach is the exact same. It just requires one additional step of algebra. Let's take a look at another example. All right, so again, we're looking at another triangle. We have 55. We have 13 at the bottom as our adjacent, and then we have our hypotenuse. So CAH TOA. Which one uses adjacent and hypotenuse? CAH, cosine. So the cosine of 55 degrees is equal to 13 all over x. So x cosine of 55 equals 13. So x is going to be equal to the 13 over cosine of 55. When you put that into your calculator, you will get 22.6648. Again, I'm significant figures up to 3, 22.7. So my answer is going to be x is equal to 22.7. And there you have it. So those are the two different ways when you're solving these basic problems, how to solve those algebraically. Okay, sometimes they require a couple less steps of algebra, sometimes they require a couple steps more, but either way, as long as your setup is correct, you understand what is adjacent, what is opposite, what is hypotenuse, and which trig function to select correctly, you'll get these answers right every time, provided you put them in your calculator correctly as well. All right, so I hope that helped, and I'll see you all in the next video.